Well, on that note, shall we speak to someone from Reform UK? Indeed we shall, because this is Alex Wilson AM, who is a Reform UK London Assembly member. Welcome to the show, Alex. Now, there we had Simon basically saying the country is going to be so decimated that actually that's going to pave the way to number 10, and Nigel Farage is the man to put us all back together again. But I would challenge this. He's got no experience. Nobody in Reform UK has ever been even in the shadow cabinet, let alone in government. They don't understand the mechanisms of Whitehall. They don't understand how narrow and difficult the path to success is, how very little you can actually do with a bloated civil service, with various quangos, with the membership of supranational organisation, with leftist lawyers. It's all very well standing at the sideline saying, I'm going to save the country. Can he?
Well, Alex, it's great to be on the show again. I would reply to that, yeah, the Conservatives had a lot of experience in government and they made a lot of mistakes. They got it horribly, horribly wrong. And Labour, they've got experience in Parliament and they're getting it horribly wrong as well. So I think what's also important is to have experience in the real world, in business, in creating jobs, in understanding what makes people tick on a daily basis. And that's something that Reform will bring in spades. When we get a large number of MPs elected with, say, real world experience in business, in the services, in public service, and that's what we're going to bring, and that judgment and that mindset that we will do things differently, and we're not going to stand for the blob getting in the way. But what's quite remarkable about the last year, we've had this Labour government. They were elected with a big majority. You can query whether they deserved the majority they got based on the electoral system that we have, but they had this opportunity, and what's very, very remarkable is that they had no honeymoon whatsoever. Normally, a new government comes in for the first year, 18 months, 2 years, they can do no wrong. Well, this government has shown that they can do no right on the economy, on migration, on the farmers, all these issues. They're getting it wrong, getting it badly wrong, and it's ordinary working people who are paying the price.
Now, you say that Reform's going to be different because it's going to have real people from business, people who are entrepreneurs, industrialists, who know how the world works, people of talent to come in and help change the country. But arguably, you've had those people, and guess what? They didn't toe the line. They didn't play party politics. They summarily got booted out. People like Rupert Lowe, people like Ben Habib, who set up his own weird little party. It's not the problem, actually, that you can have all of these brilliant alpha males with great life experience, but they soon enough don't know how to be a cog in the machine, can't deliver, can't be collegiate.
Well, you have to have a clear sense of purpose and a clear sense of direction, and that's what Nigel has got. And he's building the team around him, people that will be loyal, will stick together and work hard to change the country. Because we've only got one chance at this. If we've got another 4 years of this Labour government, damaging the economy. Already, business confidence is plummeting. Had over 250,000 jobs destroyed since Rachel Reeves's budget with her national insurance jobs tax, which has hurt hospitality and retail and low-paid and part-time workers in particular. Another 4 long years of this is going to be very, very hard for the country to bear. But it means that we have only got one shot to get it right, and that's what's going to happen in 2029.
It's not the problem when you talk about 4 long years that if we were in 2029 to get a Reform government, the things that they need to do before they can even start making a dent in introducing the sorts of radical sweeping policies that may be needed to change our trajectory, things like getting out of the ECHR, things like having a great repeal bill to uproot all of the human rights legislation that these leftist activist lawyers are using to prevent the deportation of criminals. Those things are going to take a huge amount of time. You're going to have the muscularity of a bloated state doing everything they can to block it. We saw what happened after Brexit, for crying out loud. The referendum was in 2016. It took 4 years for us to even be listened to and actually begin to enact what people had asked for. It's going to be 4 long years if Reform do get into power in 2029 to even begin doing the sorts of things that they want to do.
Well, that's why we have to get the big, powerful mandate for change. You're absolutely right to point at Brexit being an example of where the views of the public, very clearly expressed in that referendum, and it took a long time to get to the other side of that because we had a Tory government. We had Theresa May, who appointed Ollie Robbins as her chief negotiator in dealing with Brexit. And when you have people who don't believe in the cause, it's always going to fail. So you need to have people who are absolutely on board, that strong mandate from the public, and we have to deliver because politics at the moment isn't working. And we have an opportunity thanks to the wheels coming off the Labour government so very, very quickly, at the same time as people's memories are still very fresh about the failures of the Tories. That's what's given us this huge opportunity. It's why we're doing so well in the polls. It's why we're doing well in the local elections just a couple of months ago, and still in council by-elections week on week. We're gaining seats. But we're going to take that opportunity, take that chance, and really show that we have to deliver, because if we can't deliver, then no one can.
I'm going to let you into a little secret, Alex. In this interview, they are questioning Nigel's bon vivant lifestyle and the fact that he is still a loyal devotee of the PFL, the proper effing lunch. My little confession is I invented that acronym, by the way. I didn't invent the PFL, but I was the one who gave it that particular title. So, hey, well done, Alex. But do you think that that sort of approach to life by Nigel, do you think the fact that he is a 61-year-old chain-smoking, pint-drinking, likes a long lunch, is that conducive to running the country well? Because he's asked in an interview with The Sun about that. He sort of references people like Winston Churchill saying, well, he had, basically a pint of champagne before he even got out of bed, and he managed to run the country during wartime. But in this modern era, when you're in charge of the nuclear button, when you've got to deal with foreign investors, ambassadors, you own backbenchers, can you really be so lackadaisical and joyful about your approach to life? Does it help?
Well, it shows that he's human, and that's something that Keir Starmer certainly doesn't appear to be. He's, dull and boring and technocratic, whereas we want someone who's got a bit of life, a bit of vigour about him, and Nigel's certainly got that. Now, I've never experienced a PFL with him. I'd certainly love to. I'm sure I'd enjoy it very much indeed. But no, it's about being relatable, about being they someone that people can connect with, and you see that when he goes on his walkabouts, when he meets people, when he goes out campaigning, everybody wants to speak to him, wants a piece of Nigel, because he's someone they can relate to, someone who they can put their faith in, and but don't let that kind of side of him suggest that he's not absolutely deadly serious. When I was in my last meeting with him a few weeks ago, you could just tell the eyes, the body language. He is serious about becoming Prime Minister. He's never had this opportunity before. UKIP did great things, secured the referendum by putting pressure on the Conservatives to deliver that, but never had a shot at real power. This is where the situation is very, very different now. Nigel knows that, and the people around him know that, and all of us are going to pull together and make sure we do everything we can to keep this momentum going. Look, 4 years is a long time. Week's a long time in politics. 4 years is a very long time in politics. Polls can go up, they can go down. All sorts of things can happen along the way. But the position that we're in now, professionalising the party, building the branch network, winning council by-elections week in, week out, sort of honing our campaigning techniques, getting the machine in the best possible state it can be. When that general election comes, we are going to be a real force to be reckoned with, something the like of which has never been seen before.
Alex Wilson, Reform UK, thank you ever so much for joining us.